In the summer of 1943, the Gestapo began dismantling one of Britain's most important resistance networks in occupied France. Agents disappeared, safe houses were raided, wireless operators were arrested, leaving London increasingly cut off from its contacts in Paris. One British agent was offered the chance to return home before the Gestapo found her. She refused. Her name was Noor Inayat Khan. Before the war, she had written stories for children and composed music. She had been raised to believe in peace and non-violence. But now, hidden somewhere in Nazi-occupied Paris, she was carrying one of the most dangerous objects a person could possess. A secret wireless radio connecting the French resistance directly to Britain. She was born in Moscow on the 1st of January 1914. Her father, Hazrat Inayat Khan, was an Indian musician and Sufi teacher. Her mother, Aura Ray Baker, was an American who adopted the name Amina Begum after their marriage. Noor was also a descendant of Tipu Sultan, the 18th century ruler of Mysore who had fought against the expansion of the British East India Company. Shortly after Noor's birth, the family left Russia. They spent time in Britain before settling near Paris, where Noor grew up alongside her younger siblings. Her upbringing was spiritual and deeply influenced by her father's teachings of religious unity, compassion and non-violence. Noor studied child psychology at Sorbonne and music at Paris Conservatory. She wrote poetry and children's stories, some of which were broadcasted on French radio. In 1939, she published a collection of inspired Buddhist stories called 20 Jakuta Tales. Nothing about her life suggested that she would become an undercover agent, but in May 1940, German forces invaded France. As the country collapsed, Noor and her family escaped through Bordeaux and travelled by sea to Britain. Although she opposed violence, Noor believed that refusing to resist Nazism would allow even greater evil to succeed. She decided that she had to contribute. In November 1940, Noor joined the Women's Auxiliary Air Force. She trained as a wireless operator, learning how to transmit and receive messages using Morse code. Her technical ability and fluent French eventually attracted the attention of Special Operations Executive. The SOE was a secret British organisation created to conduct espionage, sabotage and resistance operations inside countries occupied by Germany. Its agents worked under false names, organised local networks, supplied weapons and sent intelligence back to London. Wireless operators were particularly important. They were also among the most vulnerable. Their transmissions could be detected by German direction finding teams. An operator who remained on air for too long risked revealing the area in which the message was being sent. The equipment itself was bulky, difficult to conceal, and immediate evidence of espionage if discovered. Noor began SOE training in 1943. Some of her instructors questioned whether she was suited to secret work. Reports described her as gentle, emotional, and sometimes physically clumsy. There were concerns that she might struggle to lie convincingly or withstand interrogation. Others recognised her intelligence, dedication, and exceptional ability as a radio operator. The SOE desperately needed someone who could speak French naturally and maintain communications from Paris. Despite the doubts, Noor was selected. Her code name would be Madeleine. On the night of 16th of June 1943, Noor was flown into occupied France aboard a Lysander aircraft. She was the first female wireless operator sent into France by the SOE, using her cover name, Jean-Marie Renier. She joined the Paris-based Prosper Resistance Network. But within days, the network began collapsing. Its leaders were arrested, safe houses were compromised, and the Gestapo began searching for the remaining agents. London offered to bring Noor home, but she refused. If she left, Britain would lose one of its last reliable wireless links to Paris. For almost 4 months, Noor worked largely alone. She moved between addresses, altered her appearance, and carried her radio across the city while German detection teams searched for illegal transmissions. Her messages helped London remain in contact with the resistance and reportedly assisted the escape of around 30 Allied airmen. Each transmission could have exposed her location, yet Noor remained free far longer than many of her instructors had expected. In October 1943, Noor was betrayed and arrested in Paris. The exact circumstances remain disputed, although one account claims that Renée Gary, the sister of a resistance organiser, disclosed her location. Noor was taken to the German security headquarters at 84 Avenue Foch. She resisted her captors and soon attempted to escape across the roof. The attempt failed. The following month, Noor and 2 other prisoners escaped from their cells and reached the roof again, but an air raid alarm alerted the guards. Noor refused to promise that she would not attempt another escape. The Germans classified her as an exceptionally dangerous prisoner and transferred her to Germany. Noor was held in solitary confinement at Portsheim prison. Her hands and feet were chained, and she was repeatedly interrogated. She refused to reveal information about her work, her colleagues, or even her real name. However, the Germans had recovered copies of her previous messages when she was arrested. Using her radio and codes, they began transmitting to London while pretending that Noor was still operating freely. This deception formed part of the German system known as Funkspiel. London continued sending agents and suppliers into compromised networks, despite warning signs that the transmissions were no longer genuine. Noor herself never cooperated. She remained in prison for 10 months. On September 12, 1944, Noor was transported to Dachau concentration camp with 3 other captured SOE agents. The following morning, all 4 women were executed. Noor was 30 years old. A post-war witness claimed that she was severely beaten before her death and that her final words was "liberté." Whether she truly spoke the word in those final moments cannot be known with certainty, but it captured everything Noor had risked her life to defend. She had entered the war as someone who believed deeply in peace and non-violence. She died resisting a regime that had destroyed both. When the resistance network around her began collapsing, Noor was given the opportunity to escape, but she chose to remain, not because she had abandoned her belief in peace, but because she understood that peace could not survive unless someone was willing to defend it.